Bitcoin's price always finds a bottom and then goes back up in a Bitcoin bear market. So why does that happen? Why can't Bitcoin go to zero? Why is Bitcoin not something who's sort of done its thing and it's over? Run its course. You know, at this point in a Bitcoin bear market, people are saying, I feel like Bitcoin's run its course. I feel like it's fizzled out, or it might fizzle out, or it's already run its course, or blah, blah, blah. No, the reason that is not the case is because Bitcoin is the most incredible technology humans have ever invented or discovered for moving value over space and time, which is what money does. Money moves value, it stores value over space and time. And in order to do that, the characteristics of a good money are it's divisible, durable, portable, fungible, authenticatable, and most importantly, scarce. And Bitcoin is the thing in the universe that meets that criteria better than anything else in the universe. So why won't it go to zero? Because every day, more people figure out that Bitcoin is amazing, that over the long haul, it stores value better than anything else, and that it's the only thing that lets you send money, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, billions, anywhere in the world in a matter of seconds in a completely unstoppable way, uncensorable, unconfiscatable sort of way. There is incredible value in that. So the reason the price always bottoms is because there's always people who have fiat currency, which involves 95% of the world right now. So 95% of the world has government currency and no Bitcoin. And every day, some of those people figure out that Bitcoin is a better currency and start using their government currency to buy Bitcoin. And as the price goes down, while there are people panicking and selling on the way down, eventually there are always more people who understand the fundamental value proposition of Bitcoin that are buying on its way down. And eventually, as the price drops, the number of people willing to buy at the new cheaper prices always eventually overwhelms the number of people willing to sell at those lower prices. I mean, 100% of the time, with any asset that has value, that is the way you always eventually find a price floor. So, in the first Bitcoin bear market in 2012, the price bottomed at $2. Why did it not go less than $2? Because at $2, there were more buyers willing to step in and say, nuh-uh. If you're going to give me Bitcoin at $2, I will take that Bitcoin. 2 years later, in 2014, the price bottomed at $92. Now, why wasn't it $2? Why was it 92 instead of 2? Because there were 46 times as many people who stepped up to the plate and said, hey, $92 Bitcoin, I will take that. I remember missing $2 Bitcoin. I'm not missing $92 Bitcoin. So the price bottomed in 2014 at $92. In 2018, the price bottomed at $3,200. Now, why $3,200 instead of 92? And the answer is because there were way more people. There were 40 times as many people, or whatever that math is, 3,200 divided by 92. There were hugely more people that were saying, I missed buying the bottom at 92. I am not missing buying the bottom at 3,200. Fast forward to 2022. The lowest the price ever got was 15,500. Again, each of these is radically higher numbers than the previous one. So 15,500, once again. Why did the price bottom at 15,500? Well, thankfully, there were people like me at that point who were saying the cheaper it got, the more I'm like, I will pull out all the stops. I will use capital I never intended for this. I will do whatever it takes to buy as much Bitcoin below 2019, 18, 17, 16 as possible. And I just bought it all the way down. And eventually, people like me overwhelmed the people willing to sell at those levels. And as a result, we ended up, the price bottomed at 15,500. So was 60,000 the bottom? Maybe. It was about 4x the 15,500. Seems about right. Seems reasonable that 60,000 was the bottom. But I don't know. All I know is that eventually the buyers overwhelmed the sellers because Bitcoin is amazing, because humans need money, because Bitcoin is a better money, because Bitcoin is a better neutral reserve asset for the world, an asset that anyone can own, anyone can preserve the value of their purchasing power, and not be debased by greedy governments printing money out of thin air. All of those things mean that eventually the buyers will overwhelm the sellers. And even now, I've been talking to people over the last week or two that are doing 401k loans to buy Bitcoin, that are doing Bitcoin-backed loans to buy Bitcoin, that are, freeing up money in retirement funds to buy Bitcoin, that are buying more Bitcoin than they anticipated because the price is lower. Those people, including me, I've got about $50,000 of dry powder that I can use Bitcoin-backed loans for. which I only do when the price is like ridiculously cheap. And now that it's already touched 60, I want it to be like even cheaper. And I will probably never deploy that capital to Bitcoin because it'll probably never get cheaper. The price eventually always bottoms. It's just a matter of time. And that assumes you're in an asset that is valuable. If you're in some junk crypto token, no, those things do go to zero. Bitcoin's not going to zero because it has the best monetary properties of anything, literally anything in the entire universe. Nothing else has that. So if you're in an asset that is not going to zero because it has fundamental value like Bitcoin, then it will always find a floor in a bear market. 60,000 was probably that floor. If it wasn't, it's probably not much below that. Now is a fantastic time to buy Bitcoin. It is radically on sale at $67,000. That may be the cheapest it ever becomes, or the cheapest it ever gets, or the cheapest it ever goes from here. Nobody knows, but it's on sale. There is a bottom. It's not going to zero. You'll be fine. It will be fine. Everything will be fine. And I'm here to help if there's anything you need on your Bitcoin journey. Thanks.